Expeditions are a completely different way to play No Man's Sky, a series of stages and special missions crafted by the devs, often tied to new updates and mechanics. They have a primary source of exclusive rewards, unique starships and multi-tools, custom gear options, even pets you can't get anywhere else. But are expeditions worth playing beyond the cosmetics? Then is the best time for new players to jump in, and how can veterans squeeze the most out of these seasonal adventures? In this guide, I will break down everything you need to know, with the best tips, tricks and strategies to help you master expeditions and make the most of every run. So without further delay, let's get into this. Expeditions are seasonal, time-limited adventures that give you a fresh and structured way to play No Man's Sky. Think of them as a separate game mode where you start from scratch, follow developer design goals and unlock exclusive rewards. These goals are often tied to new updates and features, things like fishing, fossil building or even the introduction of corvettes. Each expedition is divided into 5 phases, filled with milestones that range from simple tasks like destroying asteroids or snapping a photo of your new corvette, to more advanced challenges that require deeper knowledge of the game, such as exploring a derelict freighter, locating deep space anomalies, or even participating in community missions where everyone contributes to a shared global objective. Players who enjoy a structured and guided path through No Man's Sky will find expeditions especially rewarding. Expeditions usually take anywhere from 2 to 8 hours to complete, depending on your skill and experience. They are a great way to test your knowledge, practice creative problem solving, and try out new mechanics you might normally ignore in your main save, like fishing, cooking, or corvette building. More than anything, they offer a unique, guided adventure that feels different from the usual open-ended No Man's Sky experience. So, who can play expeditions? The short answer: everyone. New players can use expeditions to learn the ropes, while veterans get fresh challenges, exclusive rewards and opportunities to experiment with new gear and mechanics. But I don't recommend that brand new players jump straight into expeditions. While the objectives do come with hints, the game won't hold your hand, and without a solid grasp of the basics, you might get stuck or feel frustrated instead of enjoying the sense of progression. That said, if you don't want to miss out on the rewards, you can always follow step-by-step guides from veteran players on YouTube shortly after a new expedition drops. Just keep in mind that this will give you the loot, but not the same sense of achievement. Expeditions usually last around 6 weeks. You can always check the in-game menu to see how much time remains, then decide whether to dive in immediately or wait a week or two while you build up your skills and prepare properly. Starting prepared can make a huge difference, and with the right timing you will still have plenty of opportunity to finish and claim those exclusive rewards and get the most out of the expedition. There are 2 ways to jump into expeditions in 2025. You can start fresh with a brand new save directly from the game menu, or you can launch an expedition from your existing save at the Space Anomaly using the expedition terminal located between the Nexus and the Quicksilver merchant. At first glance, this might seem redundant. Why would the devs give us 2 ways to start the same mode? The answer lies in No Man's Sky history. When expeditions were first introduced, the only option was to start from a completely new save. The ability to begin an expedition from the existing save was added much later, with the Omega update in early 2024. Both options have remained in the game since then, partly for variety and partly to give brand new players a way to experience expeditions separately from main playthrough. But here is where it gets tricky. With every major expansion, new bugs inevitably sneak in, and sometimes even game-breaking ones. When the start from existing save option was first added, some players lost years of progress due to critical bugs. I've spoken to players who experienced this firsthand, and while I believe Hello Games has patched this issue since, the caution stuck. That's why many veteran streamers and explorers still prefer starting expeditions in a fresh save. It's the safest option when a brand new update lands. On the other hand, starting expeditions through your main save unlocks powerful advantages. Bringing in your best starship, multi-tool and resources can massively speed up mission progress, making the entire run easier and far more enjoyable. Personally, I've been playing expeditions this way for over a year without problems, but I can't guarantee it will be risk-free for everyone. New players might wonder why such serious game-breaking issues aren't thoroughly tested before a new expansion or expedition release. I don't have an official answer as I don't work for Hello Games, but my guess is that as a relatively small studio, they don't have enough testers to check every feature in detail across all platforms No Man's Sky is played on. They likely rely heavily on community feedback and reports submitted via the Zendesk system. If that's the case, it's a fair trade-off for nearly a decade of free updates. That said, I completely understand how incredibly frustrating it can be for players who have invested years into the game only to lose progress due to new features that were insufficiently tested. So which option should you choose? If you want absolute safety and peace of mind, a new save is still the cautious route. If you want speed, convenience and to make advantage of everything you've built in your main save, then starting at the space anomaly is the way to go. In the end, it's up to you, just make the choice with full awareness of the risks and rewards. So, when is the best time to start expeditions? From my experience playing through half a dozen of them, the answer really depends on your No Man's Sky background and what you are looking to get out of the adventure. If you are a seasonal veteran who can handle the early chaos like bugs, glitches, getting stuck in textures, and you are hungry for those new exclusive cosmetics right away, then dive in immediately. Playing early, especially with multiplayer on, transforms the expedition into something that feels almost like a full-scale MMORPG. It's dangerous, it's messy, but it's also some of the most fun you can have in No Man's Sky with a living community buzzing around you. Sure, you can switch off multiplayer to dodge a lot of those bugs, but you will also miss the sense of chaos and shared adventure that makes early expeditions unforgettable. Personally, I always leave multiplayer and PvP on, that's where the magic happens. But if you prefer a smoother ride, waiting is the smarter call. Most of the big issues get patched within the first week. By then you will get a more polished, stable experience, though expect far fewer players roaming around since the launch day excitement will already have faded. And for brand new players, don't rush, take your time to master the basics first. Survival, resource management, fast navigation, all those skills become crucial during expeditions. If you are just starting out, it's perfectly fine to disable multiplayer and PvP and focus purely on progression at your own pace. Keep in mind though, later in this guide we will go over some of the hidden benefits of expeditions that might change how you approach them. So stay tuned and let's dig deeper. For most players, expeditions are all about the unique rewards, exclusive starships and multi-tools, distinct customization options, unique pets and more. And that's a solid reason, especially because these cosmetics aren't locked to the safe where you earn them. Hello Games has been incredibly generous, not only supporting No Man's Sky with free updates for 9 years, but also allowing you to claim every expedition cosmetics you've unlocked across all your saves. Once you earn them in an expedition, you can pick them up from the Quicksilver NPC on every hour save. This also applies to all cosmetics purchased with Quicksilver. Once unlocked, they are available across all saves, a truly remarkable and convenient quality of life feature from the devs. But here is where it gets really interesting. Playing an expedition on your main save opens the door for much more than just cosmetics. All units, nanites and Quicksilver you earn will transfer straight back to your main save when the expedition ends. Even better, you can move items between saves using the Expedition Transfer Console. 8 tech slots and 24 item slots with stack size equal to a freighter main cargo. This means you can shuttle high-value loot both days, send essentials from your main save to speed up expedition progress, then bring back powerful rewards like exosuit upgrades, starship expansions, freighter tech upgrades and rare tech modules to supercharge your main character. Pro tip: if you are a new player still expanding your exosuit, don't apply slot upgrades immediately when you earn them as expedition rewards. Right-click to cancel the extension and the augmentation will be stored in your inventory. Later you can transfer those augmentations back to your main save, giving your primary character the upgrades instead. The same trick works for multi-tool and starship slot expansions. You can also package freighter, exocraft and exosuit tech modules for transfer limited only by the available slots. Some things, however, don't make the trip. Companion X, expedition-only items, unlocked blueprints, alien wards, freighters, frigates and unlocked freighter tech all stay behind. If your main save doesn't have a freighter, finishing the expedition won't magically give you one, even if you found the perfect S-class inside the expedition. What does transfer are teleport entries and any bases you build. That makes expeditions a fantastic opportunity to mark down useful spots or set up base computers on unique worlds chosen by the devs. Then you return to your main save, those bases and the teleport links to them will still be there, letting you revisit those gorgeous planets anytime. Keep in mind, if you learn a base part in the expedition and build one or more copies in a base, those copies will remain when the base is transferred to your main save. However, you won't be able to build additional copies in your main save until you unlock those parts there. Everything else gets converted into units, nanites or Quicksilver. Another often overlooked but extremely powerful feature is the ability to copy a multi-tool or starship from your main save into the expedition and then back again. When used correctly, this can be a game changer in the late game, especially for maximizing the performance of your ships and multi-tools. However, keep in mind that ships are copied without cargo and completing the transfer will require nanites. I recommend starting expeditions only after you've got a solid multi-tool, a starship with decent warp range and a good handle on the game's core mechanics. My personal setup is simple but effective. I bring about 25 suspicious tech packets for nanites, which is enough to copy both a multi-tool and a starship from my main save. A stasis device provides all the units I'll need, and some key exosuit upgrades help streamline progression. If you are a newer player without access to suspicious packets or stasis devices, don't worry, you can use any alternatives. Larval cores, Hadal cores, fish and radiant shards can all be converted into nanites, while storm crystals or AI valves from scrap starships can be used to earn units. Just bring what you can. Additionally, bring basic resources and other essentials tailored to the expedition's requirements, like fishing bait for a fishing-focused expedition, so you won't waste time farming them during the run. Keep in mind, you won't have access to transferred items right away. At the very start you will need to survive with the basic gear Hello Games gives you. Only after reaching the space anomaly can you retrieve your transferred resources and switch between saves. Here are my 6 top tips to streamline your progression and maximize the efficiency of your expedition run. Tip 1. Move the most useful tech into supercharged slots in your exosuit and multi-tool for an instant performance boost. If you have access to your starship at the start, do the same there as well. Otherwise, prioritize it as soon as you acquire a starship in the expedition. Tip 2. After optimizing your gear, open the Expeditions tab and review all milestones across the 5 phases. Knowing every objective allows you to plan your path efficiently and complete milestones naturally as you explore different areas of the expedition, rather than following a strictly sequential order. With smart planning, you can tackle later phase milestones early, like destroying 30 asteroids the first time you exit into space, even if they belong to phase 4 or 5. Some tasks are universal across expeditions, so planning ahead gives you a significant speed advantage and faster rewards. Don't forget, milestone rewards must be manually claimed in the Expeditions tab after completion. Tip 3. Make full use of the basic tricks you've learned in your main save. Mine essential resources on your way to a starship, harvest oxygen from hazardous plants before mining them, and use basic refinement formulas to craft materials needed for early milestones. Here is a pro tip many players may overlook. Starting fresh in an expedition can be disorientating, and if you run out of materials to recharge your mining beam, use melee kicks to harvest resources. It's slower, but it works perfectly for gathering the essential materials you need to keep your mining beam operational. Tip 4. Travel faster with jetpack strafing. Early expeditions don't give you upgraded jetpacks, so fuel runs out quickly. The trick is to never deplete your jetpack fully. It will recharge much faster if you leave a little in the tank. Also, use the deuterium plants when you see them. They give you about 10 seconds of unlimited jetpack fuel, which is perfect for covering ground quickly. Tip 5. When you first reach a space station and gain teleporter access, check the list of public bases built by our players. The community is amazing. People often set up bases at key objective spots like fishing zones, corrupted sentinel worlds, or rendezvous points, and even mark them with beacons. In past expeditions, some players even built staircases hundreds of units high so everyone could complete reach altitude milestone in minutes. Keep an eye out, you will be surprised how much the community can help. Tip 6. The devs usually prevent you from summoning the space anomaly in the first system of an expedition to stop immediate access to transferred items. You can bypass this by ignoring the next rendezvous location and hyperdriving to a nearby star system where the space anomaly can be summoned. From there, you can access transferred items, sell them at the nearest space station, and copy a starship and multi-tool from your main save, speeding up your progress. Using a copied starship for a warp jump is far faster than hopping around with the basic expedition starship with its limited hyperdrive range. In the current Corvette expedition, the devs blocked copying your starship to encourage constructing and using new Corvettes. However, you can still copy the Corvette you assemble in the expedition back to your main save, giving new players a faster path to acquire these new toys. Once the space anomaly is unlocked, you can freely switch between your main save and expedition save at any time. Progress is independent, so there is no pressure to finish an expedition in one sitting. One of the best tricks to stockpile Quicksilver is to use expedition mode alongside your main save. Every save file has its own Quicksilver daily mission reset, meaning you can complete the same Quicksilver mission twice. Once in your primary save and once in the active expedition. This effectively doubles your rewards, giving you 800 Quicksilver instead of 400 each day, and double that increased 1800 Quicksilver reward for weekend missions. In fact, new players can push this even further. By running Quicksilver missions across multiple new saves, it's possible to increase Quicksilver rewards even more, although it requires significant grind. Expedition mode is the smartest way to maximize Quicksilver, because it lets you to kill two birds with one stone. Because you can copy starship and multi-tool from your main save, Quicksilver missions in the expedition mode are much faster and smoother compared to our saves where you start from scratch. The only catch? Don't rush the final milestone. Completing it will end the expedition early and lock you out of extra Quicksilver missions until the next event. Quicksilver missions stack for a few days, so you don't need to log in daily. But you do need to leave that last milestone untouched until near the very end of expedition. Wrap it up a day or two before the event ends and you will maximize both rewards and Quicksilver profits. This method works because Quicksilver resets are tied to individual saves, while rewards are shared across all of them. Play it smart and you will stockpile enough Quicksilver to unlock every cosmetic item in the store without ever feeling short. Chasing the best upgrades in No Man's Sky can feel impossible. You might be lucky enough to roll a single perfect X-Class upgrade, but rolling 3 of the same tag and then repeating that across every ship and multi-tool in your collection would take forever. That's where equipment synthesis comes in. It's a legit feature that lets you clone starships and multi-tools, including their upgrades, and then used properly, it's a total game changer, especially in the late game. Here is how it works. In expedition mode, you can copy your main save starship and multi-tool into the expedition to speed up the progress with nanites. But it also works the other way around. You can copy starship and multi-tool back from the expedition into your main save. If the copied starship or multi-tool is loaded with top-tier upgrades, you've essentially cloned them. You can then uninstall those upgrades and transfer them to another ship or multi-tool you own. There is just one catch. The game won't let you copy the exact same item if you already own it in your main save. The workaround is simple. Store the ship in your freighter or the multi-tool in a weapon rack before copying. That way, the game sees them as separate items and allows the transfer. For example, if you've completed Expedition 12 Omega and obtained the Starboard Runner with its exclusive photonic score, you can transfer this upgrade to all your hour ships, including corvettes. Simply set the ship you want to transfer as your active starship in your main save before starting a new expedition. Use equipment synthesis to copy it into expedition mode. Make the copied ship your active ship in the expedition, then switch back to your main save. Store your original ship in the freighter so the game allows the copy to exist. Copy the starship from the expedition, uninstall the tech upgrades you want, then salvage the cloned ship and repeat the process as needed. The same method applies to multitools. Place the original in a weapon rack, copy the expedition version back to your main save, uninstall the tech you want, and salvage the cloned multitool to repeat the process for as many additional multitools as needed. This is the most efficient way to outfit new multitools instantly with top-tier tech. This method also lets you customize the Iron Vulture starship, which is rewarded upon completing Expedition 13 Adrift. If you already own the Iron Vulture from previous expeditions, you can copy it to a new expedition, store the original in your freighter, and then extract parts by salvaging the clone starship. Repeat this process until you collect all 3 different parts needed to assemble Iron Vulture in any color. If you don't own one yet, ask veteran players to share the parts with you. The best way to maximize the equipment synthesis feature is to set the Iron Vulture as your main starship before starting a new expedition, making sure it's equipped with the best tech upgrades, including the photonic score, if you have it. Then you copy it back from the expedition. You not only get copies of top-tier tech for your hour ships, but you can also extract Iron Vulture parts each time you salvage the clone. This makes it possible to share parts with friends so they can assemble a custom Iron Vulture in their preferred color. Some players might mistakenly see this as an exploit, but it's not. It's an official feature. Each clone device costs thousands of nanites, and the Iron Vulture was intentionally designed so players could extract its parts to create custom variants using equipment synthesis feature. Importantly, it doesn't break game balance. It simply allows you to copy tech upgrades across your starship collection, including new corvettes and multitools. This eliminates much of the late game grind that would otherwise require manually uninstalling and reinstalling upgrades whenever you want to change a ship or multitool design. This feature is especially valuable for players building a new fleet of corvettes or managing multiple fully upgraded multitools, each dedicated to a different purpose: mining, combat, or scanning. For new players, it might seem a bit confusing at first, but by the end game, when you have dozens of starships and many different designed multitools, you will appreciate how much time and effort this quality of life feature saves. If you think that's all you can get from an expedition, there is one more ace up your sleeve, especially useful for mid-game or late-game players hunting Autophage currency to acquire rare items like exclusive exosuit upgrades, stylish wall-tech stuff, and robotic appearances. The equipment synthesis feature we discussed earlier makes farming void modes incredibly fast if you own an Atlantid multitool, saving a lot of time. Void modes are the currency for transactions with the Autophage race, essential for buying unique appearance modifiers, wall-tech stuff crafting components, and rebuilt exosuit modules from Autophage synthesis terminals and harmonic interfaces. One way to get void modes is by decommissioning random Atlantid multitools at the multitool decommissioning terminal in the space anomaly, but this isn't very efficient. An average C-class multitool yields only 500 to 700 void modes. A much faster method is using the multitool cloning technique covered earlier. Equip an Atlantid multitool as your primary weapon, copy it via the expedition terminal, then decommission the copy for a huge amount of void modes. The number depends on the tool's class and unlocked slots. A fully upgraded S-class Atlantid multitool with 60 slots gives over 19,000 void modes in a single run. This method kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You clone top-tier tech from your main multitool while quickly stockpiling void modes. After salvaging useful upgrades, you can repeat the process to farm as many void modes as you need. Knowing useful mechanics allows you to cut down on unnecessary grind so much in this game. So, there you have it. Everything players need to know to get the most out of expeditions. Whether you are after exclusive rewards, a structured adventure, or to copy top-tier upgrades for your main save, expeditions add a whole new dimension to No Man's Sky. And in keeping with my little tradition of ending ultimate guides on a fun note, I'll wrap up with some hilarious moments from the latest expedition Corvette, which I encountered on its first day in multiplayer. It was literally rolling on the floor laughing at some of these moments, and I hope they give you a good laugh too. If you found this guide helpful, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, Space Travelers. Udalooper out.